Right. Well, last thing I wanted to talk about today
Mm-hmm.
is big baby Jimmy Butler, dude. So I kind of talked about it a little bit at the beginning of the show. Uh, Playoff Jimmy, if that's what you want to call him. Never done shit. Suspended indefinitely. Well, they said at least 5 games, but then I'm pretty sure they said indefinitely after that. Walked out of practice apparently today. He had a shoot around. They told him that guard. They told him that somebody else was going to be starting. Let me see. He suspension due to continued pattern. Monday. Oh yeah, Haywood Highsmith was going to be starting today. So apparently, after they approached him during the shoot around and told him that Haywood Highsmith would be starting in place of Jimmy Butler in tonight's game, he did not take that very kindly, and he turned around and walked out, stormed out. So that led to him being suspended indefinitely. And the Heat says the suspension is due to a continued pattern of disregard of team rules, engaging in conduct detrimental to the team, and intentionally withholding services. This includes walking out of practice earlier today. So they're saying Bobby Marks explained that that Butler would be taking major financial hits by in this time around. Failure to render services. He is losing $537,737 per game. To the conduct detrimental to the team, he's losing $336,543 per game. So you are adding both of those games. You're adding both of those together, and that is what he is losing per game. So around $1 million.
Wow.
Well, actually, it says, no, he gets. Wait, Bobby Marks says the key language to watch in the Miami Heat press release: failure to render service or conduct detrimental. So I'm assuming he got both of those. Is what I'm assuming. I don't know, but
That's like a $900,000 approximately a game that he's losing.
yeah, and and he's not really doing much this year. He's averaging 17 points a game this year. I mean, he's not doing shit. So once again, Jimmy Butler is an issue. This time in Miami, it seems that everywhere he plays, it ends like this. He's always turns out, he always gets tired of being there. And this one, I'm not going to lie to you. Most of the other times, you kind of found, I've always, I think most people have always kind of thought he's a loudmouth, and but he's a good player. So everybody's kind of, and he was in Chicago for a long time, so people kind of gave him the benefit of the doubt. But I'm over Jimmy Butler, and two, I am finding it very hard to feel bad for anybody that plays for the Miami Heat. I don't understand why, out of all of the organizations in the NBA, out of all the professional organizations in sports that you could force your way out of because you're unhappy or whatever, the Miami Heat would be damn near at the bottom of the list. You don't see anybody go to Miami. You see people leave Miami, but you rarely see people leave Miami on a bad note. You don't see them leaving with bad things to say. You leave because their contract was up, time to move on. They didn't get re-signed, they got traded, whatever. But you don't see people demand. Even when LeBron left, he came home, but it was a very much in the air on where if he was going to go. But it wasn't like he was like fuck Miami. Like when he left Miami or Cleveland the first time, it was pretty much like I'm out of here type thing. Like it wasn't like it was a hard decision. So I don't feel very bad for Jimmy Butler here at all. So how do you guys, front office? I'll start with you because you didn't get much to talk about on the other shit. What do you think? One, what do you think about Jimmy Butler? And two, what do you think about this whole situation? And like, and if you were a GM of a team, the Suns is apparently where he wants to go. Apparently, we've narrowed it down, and he's doing what other NBA players have done in the past, which we've talked about this. I'm very for players and having control of their destiny, but they kind of narrow in on a team nowadays and like, yeah, I want to go there. And that, so it's like Suns seem like that's the team everybody wants to go to now. So if you were the GM of the Suns or any team looking to trade for Jimmy Butler, are you looking at this does this change your mind?
Oh, dude, this is okay. I've been a Jimmy Butler apologist for some time, and that time has come. It is not there anymore. He is not that player that gets to behave this way and still get contracts. He has been a pariah in the locker room for a number of years. I don't think that's a secret, and I think that if you're a team that's desperate, which maybe the Suns are, you might still run it back with him just to see if he can actually help. But it is not. You're not getting the Jimmy Butler that you think you're getting. You think you're getting Jimmy Butler that can show up in the fourth quarter, lock somebody down, run down the court, and then make a play on offense. Oh, yeah. You like that? That's perfect, is it not?
Yeah, those are just for the viewers that don't know what pariah is.
Sorry. Oh, stop. Jimmy Butler has single-handedly cost himself probably the rest of his NBA career, at least as far as anything relevant goes. If I was a GM personally, there is no chance in hell I'm touching him with a 10-foot pole. I'm not ruining my locker room chemistry, especially if I'm on the verge of the playoffs. If I am maybe at 9 or 10 seed and I think I need one guy to do it, strong maybe. But if
you
I'm
gotta like really believe in like your locker room culture.
Dude, yeah, I would not take him on the Cavs. I can tell you that right now. I'd rather lose.
No.
I'd rather lose in the champion. I'd rather lose in the conference championship than get Jimmy Butler.
Dude,
and
he
go
would
to the
wreck
finals.
us. He'd be like, "Hey Don, are you tired of scoring 19 in games that matter?
Yeah.
Hey Don, I want one-on-one with you now." It's like, dude, we're in the goddamn playoffs, Jimmy. Could you not can you not alienate the entire fucking team?
I will say just one small defense is we haven't heard this out of the Heat when they were winning. It is exclusively now that they're losing, which is interesting.
Yeah, well, but I think that could be. I definitely, but I also think that could be both sides. Maybe that was just
they could
Jimmy.
be keeping it down. Yeah, that's.
Well, Jimmy could have never had anything wrong, and now that they're losing, he's like,
"Oh, I hate this place. Yeah,
get me
fuck
out of
you
here."
guys.
Yeah,
I don't know. It's just such a. I've just never. It's such a weird. But that definitely could be. I mean, definitely. I mean, the Heat. Pat Riley was the kind of guy who he moves with purpose. So, what do you think, Dale? What do you think about this situation? Are you a Jimmy guy?
No. I know I used this analogy before, and I'll use it again because me being baseball nerd. When Josh Donaldson was with the Jays, and Josh Donaldson had won an MVP, Josh Donaldson was allowed to swing his dick around and get mad at guys for not hustling and shit like that. When Josh Donaldson became washed up and then went to Milwaukee and Cleveland and the Yankees, it didn't go that well for him because you've lost the ability to be the big dick in the room, for lack of a better term. And I think Jimmy Butler is now learning what that is. Because before, he had enough sway when those Heat teams are going to the final that even Pat Riley had to deal with some of his bullshit behind the scenes. But it's like, he's our best player. He's getting us to here. I will deal with this. And now, they don't have to deal with this. And, I don't know. I just think I will add to front office that I won't touch Jimmy Butler with a 50 fucking foot pole. Like,
there you go.
Like,
question for both of you though: if you had to start it, you're starting a team. You had to pick Jimmy Butler or Bam Adebayo. And purely based on talent. I mean, who are you taking? I mean, you probably take Jimmy Butler. I mean, you argue Jimmy Butler, but I don't think that the gap between those two. Well, who you guys would take? I don't think the gap between those two is very big.
Sorry, can I interrupt for 1 second? The New Orleans coach just took 2 tees and is yelling at the refs, and I am laughing my ass off.
Let's fucking go. So is that good for us?
So I will give you the play by Zion.
We're up by 8. Let's go. Yeah. 9.
Zion goes, takes a bump. He doesn't like it, and then goes and gets snapped. So the Raptors are up by 8. They'll get 2 free throws, and we're looking in good shape. Sorry for interrupting. Continue.
No, you're good. So, if you guys had to choose between Bam Adebayo or Jimmy Butler, who do you guys choose? If you had to pick one to start a team with,
Ooh. How
After
much
you, Dale.
how much younger is Bam Adebayo than Jimmy Butler? Because I think that plays into it a little bit.
okay, and we can take age, but do not. We're not taking. We're not taking attitudes and stuff into.
Yeah.
Okay,
I
yeah.
think Bam's like 28 maybe, and then
Jimmy's in his
Jimmy's
early.
got to be like 35.
Jimmy's 35.
I
Oh,
was going to say 34. Wow, 35. So it's
Bam
a
is
7
27.
yeah. I got,
8-year difference.
unless I'm building like to go right now. Like if I'm going all in immediately, Jimmy Butler probably is better if I'm going short term, but probably if I'm looking long term and like if I'm doing 20 of those drafts, probably 18 of them I'm going Bam Adebayo.
Yeah, I just think, and like I don't think that the gap is very big between them, at least to the point where, like you said, the big dick thing. Like I don't. This team's not sitting here going, "Oh God, we got to get Jimmy back in here." You know what I'm saying? Like we got to hurry up and get. Like they've got a guy who, I mean, they said Jimmy's averaging what 17 a game this year. Jimmy or Bam is averaging 15.6, almost 16 a game, 10 rebounds, 4 assists, shooting 45 from the from the field. So it's like you got a guy that can at least hold it down. You got other guys on that team that can play. I mean, they're not. Yeah, it's just I just don't understand that, like the Jimmy Butler thing. I've never been a Jimmy Butler guy. I've always thought that this guy got the Jimmy playoff Jimmy thing is so funny because like what in the fuck has he ever done? Like he went God mode sure for like a little bit in the when they were in the bubble, but like he got to the finals and got destroyed. Like he didn't go there and like put up a fight. He went there and LeBron fucked him up. So it was like it's like people like hail him for like putting the heat on his back in the bubble once and taking them a team that still had Bam Adebayo and the guys that we're talking about. I think they're probably a better team then than they were now. And it's like I just don't understand. I just don't think he's ever at any point in his career been good enough to act like maybe a few years in Chicago. Like I could be wrong, and there could be a few years in Chicago where you could say, but like for him to be acting like this everywhere, like again, nobody cared when he did this in Minnesota because Minnesota was a losing culture at that month. They're really not a winning culture now, but you got Cat up there who didn't give a fuck about winning. He's just up there. As long as I get my double and my stats look good, no one expects me to win up here in Minnesota. Jimmy goes there, takes every goddamn 7-Eleven worker he can find out onto the court, plays the first stringers, beats them in a pickup game. All that's very cool. That's all neat. That's all fun and adds to the legend of Jimmy Butler. But like when it comes down to it, this guy has never done anything to be able to act like this, to be able to be like demanding, like to look at Pat Riley in his face and be like, yeah, fuck you, I went out. Like he's like Pat Riley, like very few people is Pat Riley going to set up this many in-person interviews or not interviews, but like meetings with you and like try to talk you down and try to keep you in town, try to make the situation right. And you're just like not having it. Like Jimmy Butler, the game of basketball won't miss Jimmy Butler. It won't. The game of basketball will miss Pat Riley. You know what I mean? Like, I just don't. It's just incredible. Like, and it's so fucking annoying because it's like then he gets on. He gets on in. Everybody's laughing because he goes on Instagram today and he makes a post about being jobless. It's like, dude, this shit is. You're a 35-year-old professional athlete acting like a fucking. You're acting like John Morant or somebody, like some kid who's like 24 years old who knows no better. Like you're out here acting a fool. Like, it's like making a joke about the fact that like you were a distraction to one of the most like, historic teams in basketball. You gotta, and maybe not even teams, but like owners for sure. President Pat Riley, like it's just crazy